Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to noon Central. This is the award-winning car talk show In Wheel Time, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us on this Saturday. And if you haven't heard, we're giving away gift certificates to the Black Bear Diners. We're going to give
two $40 gift certificates.
Yeah, 2 fours.
So shoot us an email with your name and a way to get a hold of you, and we're going to pick a couple of winners in the next hour, and we're going to announce them here, and we're going to get these in the mail to you so you can enjoy them over the Christmas holidays. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this because it kind of is a nice little intro that's already written for me, so why not? So with days getting shorter, nights getting longer, many drivers will find themselves on dark roads, limited visibility more often in the coming months. According to the National Safety Council, fatal accidents are 3 times more likely to happen at night. I did not know that.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
Now, joining us via Zoom is a fellow by the name of Gregg Bibbo. Greg, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, gentlemen.
And I have to tell you that the lighting there is very good, and I'm sure that you had a lot to do with that.
Look, we're all about the lighting. They're going to kick me out of the company if I don't at least have some decent lighting with me.
Yeah, well, it's great. He's with Sylvania, and they've got a campaign going, Headlight Savings Campaign. Explain to me what that means, Headlight Savings Campaign.
Headlight savings time, we're basically making a bit of a play off of daylight savings time. Because
Gotcha.
Right around the time that you're turning your clocks back is when people are driving more in the dark. They're driving to and from work in the dark. They're driving around to get Christmas presents in the dark. And you put about 2/3 of your burn time on your headlights from October to March. So, wow. It's important safety equipment, just like tires, brakes, and wipers. And we created the campaign to keep the awareness up because people don't realize that their headlights dim over time.
Well, I have to tell you that there are a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, there are a lot of people that don't use the automatic feature on their headlight switches anymore. And, on the interior, you really can't tell one way or the other unless you actually look for the little icon on the dashboard whether or not the headlights are on. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many people that I see going down the freeway, no taillights, and you get ahead of them, and there's really only thing that's on is the daytime running lights. They've got the lights off.
Saw some last night.
Yeah, and that's a major problem, for one. Number two is I don't see it as much today as I did a few years back, but foggy headlamp covers, the plastic ones that really, when they first started putting them on headlights, they were just terrible, and they would get foggy or turn yellow and really dim your forward visibility.
Yeah, look at any mid 80s Mustang, and they all have cataracts, which the bulb behind it may be great, but it's all being so diffused trying to go through the plastic cover.
So what do you
cataract?
Yeah, exactly. So what do you suggest for that? We're going to get to the bulbs in a minute, but let's face it, that is a major problem, and it really dates your car and makes it look old. As a matter of fact, I found some actual full headlights. They were Chinese, made for my daughter's old car, and man, I put those things that were cheap to buy, and I put them on there, and it made a world of difference, made the car look brand new. Mm-hmm. But what I also did was I put some high intensity bulbs in there that actually they were Sylvania bulbs. They cost me a little bit more, but I didn't have to do any LED conversions or anything like that. So let's kind of go in that direction if you don't mind. So how do you suggest that we deal with those problems?
Well, I mean, you touched on quite a few there. That it's not just a cosmetic issue you're looking at. When you see a hazy lens, and the analogy of cataracts was spot on, because it's not just cosmetic. It's greatly reducing the amount of light that's getting out on the road, and it's defocusing it in many cases. Right. So you lost your beam pattern, you lost how far it goes down the road. We make an excellent kit that will get that it'll get that haze off. More importantly, though, it will also restore the UV blocking protectant that was on the lens in the first place.
Oh.
Basically a brand new vehicle coming off of the factory has a baked on UV hard coat that protects the plastic. Over time that wears off, and the plastic underneath is really susceptible to UV damage from the sun. So I'd say there's a great start. If you've got a hazy lens, you want to get that better. But then also there are so many options to upgrade to a better performing bulb than the one that was in your vehicle to start with. The bulbs that come on a new car are optimized for life as much as they are for performance. So you could take a brand new car and go to your favorite auto parts store, and there's a lot of choices that you can have at different levels of price and performance that can give you a much further radar screen.
So do me a favor and explain that, because when you go and look at even the Sylvania product there, they have like different what I'm going to call K ratings of the bulb. So tell us what those K ratings mean.
Okay. I mean, in simple terms on lighting products, you can have brightness, you can have whiteness, and you can have life. You can't have all three at once on a traditional bulb. But basically, as you're walking into a store, in general terms, as you're walking up the price ladder, you're going to get more brightness, more whiteness, and the two of those things together, and this is where you talk about the K rating. K rating is basically a measurement of how white a light source is.
Okay.
So a OEM halogen bulb is around 3,200 Kelvin, and that is it's a yellowish, whitish light.
Kind of an amber as it lays out.
Yes. As you go to a brand new car with LEDs on it, that's 6,000 Kelvin.
Okay.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah. It's a very huge difference. Now, granted, on a halogen bulb, you can get up towards 4,300 Kelvin, but to do that, it also detracts from the life of the product.
Because it takes so much more power that you're literally burning the inside filament to create that much brightness.
Exactly. And, oftentimes when you talk to consumers and you say brighter, as many people that are interested in brighter are also saying, hey, I don't want that glare on the road, because there's a fair number of, like you'd mentioned, LED conversion kits, which aren't DOT legal for the road, that don't couple with the reflector the way the original bulb did. And the driver might really enjoy the driving experience, but they essentially turn their low beam into a high beam. Right. And now all the oncoming traffic's got a lot of glare in their eyes.
You've got everybody ticked off at you.
Right. What's the difference between Kelvins and lumens?
With a street legal halogen replacement, any of our Sylvania products that are sold in retail outlets, they're 100% designed the same way as the bulb that was in the car in the first place. They couple with the reflector the right way. Consequently, you're getting a better driving experience, but you're not doing that at the expense of oncoming traffic.
What's the difference between Kelvins and lumens, and where can I buy that kit you talked about?
What's the difference between Kelvins as a measurement and lumens as a measurement?
Okay. Lumens is brightness. Kelvin is whiteness.
Okay.
And it's it's unfortunate. There's a fair amount of misinformation. The Kelvin rating doesn't uniquely define color. I mean, we could get into this deep physics discussion that's far beyond what any of us want to do.
We're not that smart.
Yeah.
We're not that smart.
So, I mean, just in simple terms, 6,000 Kelvin is really reserved for LED. You can't get to that kind of temperature with a halogen or an HID light source. So your traditional light sources stay around 4,000 Kelvin, maybe a little more, for them to still be legal and white. But they're still a much better driving experience than the original bulb that was in the car in the first place.
So when you're talking like 6,000 Kelvin, is that the ones that kind of come off blue as they're coming at you?
Not necessarily blue, but like a brand new vehicle with designed in LED. I'll call it a crisp white light. If you see something coming at you that looks blue, it's not white. It's not correct, and likely it's a conversion kit that is
illegal,
not compliant.
Right.
Exactly. And there's a lot of that illegal product on the road today. And it's a fair amount of what consumers are complaining about.
Right.
Well, I took my 2001 Corvette from the standard light bulb to the top of the line Sylvania for that car. I don't know what it was. I don't know the name of it, but I know it was relatively expensive, and I think I bought it at Walmart or something like that. But they had a whole array of different levels, price levels, and different. And so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Totally.
Did I do myself a favor?
You did, because like I said, people know that their tires wear out. They know that their brakes do, or at least their mechanic will tell them, hey, you've got 10 thousandths left of brake pad time to change them. Your oil, although you can't as a layman, say, okay, my oil's bad, but you've got the sticker on the left hand side of your windshield to tell you. Bulbs, 80% of the people wait until they burn out to do something, and what they don't realize is that they've lost about 50 feet of visibility down the road.
I did not know that.
Yeah. As the bulb
No,
ages.
and that's a tractor trailer. I mean, it's not the whole tractor trailer, but a typical trailer is 53 feet.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of distance.
It's
But when you're
75
talking-
miles an hour. That's not very far.
Yeah, when you're talking reaction time, that extra 50 feet gives you a better reaction time.
Absolutely. My boss often says, all accidents happen in the last 15 feet. And, 50 feet gives you a lot more reaction time, to your point. And, you can't react to what you can't see. So going into the store and upgrading to a better bulb is absolutely a fundamentally great thing to do. It doesn't matter whether you're driving in the city or you're driving in the country. There's always something at night that you need to avoid.
How often should you change bulbs?
And then there's the wild card question, because there are so many different part numbers that go in vehicles. They don't all have the same standard burn time, and then we all drive. Our habits of driving are completely different. So,
right.
Plus, there's not a really good way. There's no good way for either the mechanic or the consumer to go, "Hey, wait a minute, my bulb's got 80% of the life off of it.
There's really no test to do.
No. So what we the tests that we do is a $100,000 piece of equipment in a laboratory that's super ridiculous to calibrate and all that. So what we tell people is, if you can't remember the last time you've changed your bulbs, if you had that vehicle for 2 years plus or more, if you're a high mileage driver, it's just a good thing to do. And especially, I'm talking to you from Hillsborough, New Hampshire. And so if you're in a winter nasty climate, the northern tier of the U.S., do it before the snowstorms. Do it while it's still warm out.
And we've talked about headlights, but Sylvania also sells a full range of tail lights, turn signal lights, fog lights, interior dash lights, and everything else. So what you're talking about, these bulbs wearing out over time, all of those bulbs are suspect for wearing out.
Absolutely. And, hey, we've all been in project mode since COVID hit, right? So, I think people are probably running out of things to do. They've been through 3 pages of the project list. There's so many sockets on a vehicle that you could safely upgrade to LED. Most of the brand new cars, even brand new ones, at least 60% of the sockets inside the vehicle aren't LED. And it'd be an easy, simple upgrade. You don't need much in the way of tools to get to them. And also the ones on the outside of the vehicle. Like you said, if you can't remember the last time you replaced them, it's usually an easy upgrade, and for the layman, it's one of the few things you can still do on a vehicle.
Well, here's my turn signal story that I had to deal with in the Corvette. Of course, it's sitting on the ground pretty much, but I had a turn signal bulb go out, and it was an amber one in the front. Okay, so I go up there and I finagle my way to get my hand up there where the bulb is, undo the screw-in thing, pull the bulb out, go to pull the actual bulb out of the socket, and the bulb glass just shatters in my hand. And I didn't realize.
And the socket stays in.
Yeah. So I had to get some needle nose to pull the thing out of there. But I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with what you're talking about. The car is 20 years old. And so that, as I'm sure, is an original bulb that was in there. It was a pain in the butt to get up to it, but I finally did. But I didn't realize that those bulbs become so brittle after so many years. The car only has 20,000 miles on it, so it's not that.
Yeah, but it's time.
It's the age.
It's the age. So this goes hand in hand with what you're talking about. They kind of age out, if you will.
But like
Absolutely.
you say,
So it's active safety equipment, just like brakes and tires.
Well, and then Sylvania is also engaged at the manufacturer's level, be it General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, whomever it is. So you guys have a little bit of view of what's coming in the future as well. Anything you want to tell us?
We do. And I mean, we're in sleepy little Hillsborough, New Hampshire, we have the last automotive lighting manufacturing facility for the OEM market. So we're making lights for all the vehicles every day, not just for the replacement market, but for the new car market. Right. And I mean, you see and probably talk on this show a lot about all of the latest and greatest technology. I mean, and it's amazing when you get a new vehicle between, lane departure warnings, adaptive cruise control, our lighting. There's some incredible technology today where it's not just a great LED light source, but it's linked with servos. So when you turn the wheel, the lights turn with you, or when you really turn far, an additional light will come on to do more light onto the periphery. So there's, I feel like all the seeds of autonomous driving are being evaluated and refined today on new vehicles.
Well, I have to tell you that there was a time several years ago. You might have been with me, Mr. Mars. Ford invited us up to Dearborn, Michigan, and because there were so many journalists there, they offered us to sign up for a factory tour or things like the interior department where they design interiors. But there was one in particular that they offered us that we went to the lighting department at the Ford Motor Company. And it's this great big huge warehouse that's pitch black. And it's where they test all of their lighting engineering. And it was really fascinating to see. And I know that you guys obviously have a similar facility. You have to.
We do. And oftentimes our engineers are working hand in hand with theirs when they're in the embryo stages of designing the front end of a vehicle. So we'll do all kinds of very sophisticated modeling of our light sources combined with what they're trying to do with the front end, because your lighting often is the jewelry of the vehicle at night. Very much. And in many cases, you can tell the manufacturer of the vehicle from 300-400 feet away as it's coming at you. That's this kind of vehicle or that kind. And so they're constantly trying to differentiate while still making as safe and high performance of a light source for people.
Gregg, where can we go to find out more information that Sylvania has about automotive lighting and consumer education?
You can find all that on our website, SylvaniaAutomotive.com. If you don't remember that, Sylvania Automotive on a Google search. But yes, we're constantly updating everything on our website in terms of what's new, how to evaluate your products, how to install them, what the better features and benefits are. And then we now have a whole new section of other safety-related products that came from ideas in the OEM market, like a dash cam that will allow you to be safer on the road, record what's going on. But then it also has features like lane departure and and backup assist. So something for everybody on our website.
Gregg, it's been great to talk to you. Been
real educational. Thank you very much.
It truly has been. And thanks so much for taking the time out of your Saturday to talk to us. Let's stay in touch. Please, anytime you got anything you want to talk to us about, be sure and get a hold of us.
We put your link up on our Facebook page.
All right. My pleasure, gentlemen. I really enjoyed the time, and enjoy your Saturday.
You do the same. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you again soon. Gregg Bibbo, cool. He is with Sylvania. Great interview there. All right. Again, we're giving away two $40 Black Bear Diner gift certificates. And if you'd like to put your name in the hat, please shoot us an email, info@inwheeltime.com.
Larry Gala also told us there is a third location in Houston, and that is at I-45 in Ritchie.
Okay.
So it's Katy, Missouri City, and North Houston.
Okay. Well,
thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Good to hear from him. He's a well-known jock in this town, and he works at the station up in Conroe.
Oh, wonderful!
He's been on for a long time. I have a Larry Gala.
Is he also like you, a member of the Broadcasting Hall of Fame?
I don't know about that, but
soon
he
will
should be.
Now that we've mentioned him on the show.
I have. Remind me to tell you a story about him.
Oh boy, Larry, that's going to cost you money, so we don't tell it on the air.
There goes his career.
Yeah, it goes back to the Astrodome days and going to a baseball game with him and Buddy Cantu, and me having
Been overserved.
popcorn incident into his hair.
Oh boy.
It was a fun time, and thank you, Larry, for all that you do, and still dare email me or whatever the case.
Is this a
may
long
be.
story? I got to be at work Monday.
No, it's not.
All right. George Skelton said the last interview was enlightening.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, and a lot of times their research and development department is in the dark.
Oh, gosh.
All right, time now for This Week in Auto History. Conrad enlightens us with that.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and we try and give you a little wide range of it. In 1915, and
I remember it well.
I'm sure you will. The 1 millionth Ford Model T was produced this week. So, you think there was actually 15 million Ford Model Ts produced over time. In 1921, a young engineer at General Motors discovers that when he adds a compound called tetraethyl lead to gasoline,
oh boy,
it eliminated the unpleasant noises known as knock or pinging to the internal combustion engine. So he could hardly have imagined that years later, after more than 5 decades of the oil companies would saturate the gasoline they sold with lead to find out that it was a deadly poison. Thank you, General Motors. I used to work for them, so I can say that.
Oh boy.
In 1931,
with a scowl on his face.
In 1931, the final Ford Model A was produced.
That's a cool looking car.
Yeah, very, very cool looking car. And then in 1945, I think I've got a coupe version of the Model A is going to show up here in a second.
No minivans?
No, they didn't do a minivan, but they did that, and that's pretty cool. And you see
like
a lot
the
of
color.
those. Yeah, you see a lot of those without the roof on and without the fenders on as well. In 1945, Toyota received permission from the American occupation government to start production of buses and trucks necessary to keep Japan running. It was the first production in post-war Japan after World War II.
Nice.
In 1951, Parking Services Incorporated opened the first push-button controlled park-o-matic, kind of like an automat, where you loaded the car in an elevator and it went up and parked the car. It didn't, there weren't any ramps or anything, and that has since evolved. And you see even more of that. That happens to be an Oldsmobile, by the way.
Oh boy!
You notice I always find the Oldsmobile in the story.
I find the Cadillacs.
But you'll see, they still use this technology in other places around the world, where the car basically goes up like what's the car vending
Carvana.
machine? Carvana. Well, they may park 500 or 600 cars in some of these. In some of these where in the new technology is the elevator goes up the middle and it swings around and parks the car. In areas that are pretty tight for space, you just go vertical, and here you go. It's kind of like parking in an old mailbox system inside an apartment complex.
So that elevator does go all the way to the top.
The elevator does go all the way to the top. In 1955, the federal government standardized license plates throughout the United States. You can see all of these behind us here. Don has absconded through the years. So all states have the same size.
I thought that was his homework.
That was his homework. So, previous to that, everybody had different sizes and shapes. And also in 1955, Volkswagen trademarked or registered the trademark of Volkswagen and this VW symbol, which has since evolved into a few other colors, but not the shape has stayed the same since the inception. In 1963, the last American-made Studebaker was produced, and that Studebaker was produced in their factory in South Bend, Indiana, and it was this Lark here. But Studebaker production...
God, that was an ugly car.
I remember the Lark.
But Studebaker production continued in Canada for 3 more years. I did not realize that. So that was something I learned. In 1965, Chevrolet produced its 3 millionth car for the year, Chevy Impala.
For the year?
For the year.
65
so
Impala.
they made 3 million Chevrolets in 1965.
Wow.
That was
is
one of the
awesome.
cars I wish I'd have kept. I have one, a 2-door.
In 1970, Lee Iacocca became the president of Ford Motor Company as the president. But you got to remember, Lee Iacocca joined Ford as an engineer back in the 40s and was quickly part of the team that brought together the Mustang. And then in 1977, the Plymouth Horizon was introduced this day. It was the first American-made small car with front-wheel drive. And it left such a wonderful legacy. Nobody knows anything about it anymore.
You know,
that's this week in automotive.
A lot
history.
happened
you
this
know,
week.
I had told you earlier that I took Mom's Buick down to drop off Stan the Man down in the 3rd Ward on one Saturday back when I was in high school, and you were talking about license plates, and there is that license plate that was attached to that car right up there, PBR 318 1970. Yep, that one
The
right
white,
there.
white back and blue letters.
So that was down there at the wine-a-thon that Stan the Man.
Trunk or treat.
The trunk or treat, yeah.
The alcohol drive-through.
There was that. All right, time now for a couple stories making auto news headlines this week. Kia Motors said last week, it's recalling 295,000 more U.S. vehicles for engine fire or thermal events. Automakers said the recall covers 2012 to 13 model Sorrentos, 12 to 15 model Forte and Forte Coupes, 11 to 13 Optima Hybrids, 14 to 15 Souls, and 2012 Sportage vehicles because...
So pretty much everything they made through those years.
Pretty much, yeah. By the way, they've been fined. Civil penalty totaled $70 million, including an upfront payment of $27 million to your government. Requirements to spend another $16 million on specified safety measures and a potential $27 million deferred penalty.
I wonder what happens to all that fine money. You know, this is the 10th year anniversary of the first U.S. Leaf or U.S. sold Leaf on the Nissan product.
No, I did not
The
know
fully electric Leaf.
Yeah. Huh.
Been in the market for 10 years.
You know, Jeff did our pre-owned model of the week, and it was a Honda minivan. Well, Honda is moving beyond an aggressive expansion of its certified pre-owned vehicle business by launching an updated sales website that now lists non-certified used vehicles up to 10 years old.
Wow.
American Honda is using HondaCertified.com for the non-CPO listings. The updated web portal launched on Monday. And that, I would imagine, will change the industry, and everybody will be putting on all of their used cars. Mm-hmm. You can buy a CPO or a certified pre-owned or a non-certified pre-owned.
There you go.
And we'll end this segment with there's enough consumer demand for manufacturers to ramp up output of new models, but not enough supply, according to Ally CEO Jeffrey Brown. He told investors that this week. Ally Financial, one of the largest U.S. auto lenders, said car makers should get busy. Automakers have been stretched thin by pandemic-related absenteeism, distancing protocols, quarantines, and supply chain constraints. All this combined with the 2-month shutdown this spring to contain COVID-19 has made it difficult for factories to match the rebound in consumer demand for new vehicles driven by low interest rates and a shift toward private transportation.
And, you know, Ally's been the sponsor of Jimmy Johnson's NASCAR, and since Johnson retired from NASCAR, he's going to go race sports prototype cars, and Ally's going to go and sponsor him in the IMSA series as he drives a Cadillac DPI
There you go.
All right.
car in IMSA, 24 hours at Daytona.
That's it. Go ahead.
He also tested open wheel as well, Formula.
Yeah. No, he's going to run for Ganassi in
All right,
Indy.
that's
Indy
it for this hour of the In Wheel Time Car Show. We've got our next segment coming right up after a quick break. Stay with us.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy a Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, December 19th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all in one place. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a 3-hour friends and family event. The Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, December 19th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too, and you're invited to join us. We'll see you there. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in real time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inrealtime.com. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Real Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to noon Central on Facebook, YouTube, and our InRealTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.